So my posture is a little trash. Well, a lot of trash. Get the steering wheel out the way. Oh man, so I'm just gonna get to talking. I'm not even gonna wait for nobody to get in here, man. Let's just get to talking. One of the most important things you can do is understand human physiology at any level. All right, you ain't got to be an expert. Uh, I'm an EMT. I'm trained on very basic bodily functions, but the seed has already been planted, and I've decided to go a little bit further and learning about this stuff, man. Y'all ever wonder why America's one of the only places that don't put stringent enough safeguards on sexual content? You ever wonder that? What up, the wisdom hermit? Hey man, you changed your name, didn't you? I think you changed your name. Um, I've been sitting on some information just cause I wanted to make sure I understood it, and I wanted to make sure that people were ready to like discuss it. What up, tech for you in the building? High vibes, high energy in the building. This is what it looks like to get sleep. Onyx necklace on my neck, gold plated. That ain't, it is what it is. I thought you had a different name. Maybe you got a different name on Instagram. Or maybe I just been too preoccupied with other stuff. Man, let me tell y'all something, man. As a man, men, believe it or not, you have a monthly cycle. Did you know this? Y'all ain't ready for this one. You might be. This is stuff my father and I were talking about. Like, he passed in 2018, right? This is stuff we were talking about. Okay, that's what it is. This is stuff we were talking about back in like 2010, 2012. If you're here for a reason. Call it the algorithm, call it chance, call it whatever you want to call it. Y'all know this is my pre-gym thoughts. I'm going to try to get a quick workout in and pop back in later. You ever hear about people that do great things? Have you ever heard about the people in Think and Grow Rich, what they did? There's a chapter in here that talks about sexual energy. We're going to take it all the way back to ancient Africa. We're going to take it all the way back to Egypt, right? The stuff that I've been learning, man, we are behind. Like the modern man, myself included, because I've been a victim. The modern man is such a diluted, adulterated version of what we are supposed to be. Man, we have a monthly cycle, but guess what? We don't bleed. We have an opportunity to ascend to new levels of consciousness, activity, and accomplishment. This all comes from abstaining from gluttonous acts, overeating, consuming sexual material and acting upon it, spilling your seed. What else? Having negative thoughts, speaking out of anger, and operating out of anger, unjust anger. There's a process every 29 days that the ancients call raising the chrism. You want to know what they call Jesus Christ? You want to know what they call him, the anointed one? They call him the anointed one because there are two special oil. Bro, listen, there's two special substances within the body. They get differentiated in the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. Now, the pineal gland, after a period of living justly, having pure thoughts, being kind, having a proper diet, not eating a bunch of crap. There's a process that men undergo, and women as well, but we're talking to men now, that men undergo, abstaining from sex, that men undergo, where they have a redirection of the cerebrospinal fluid. It travels down the spine, then it comes back up. What up, what up? And it carries with it the potential to differentiate this fluid into two separate substances. One of those substances that gets differentiated in the pineal gland is a golden secretion, and it has electromagnetic properties or electric properties. All right. The other substance that gets differentiated in the pituitary, the other substance that gets differentiated in the pituitary gland, and when I say differentiated, we're talking about it's an alchemical process within the body. Base chemicals, base substances that get one tweak every so often when it hits an organ or a specific area of the body. It gets differentiated and it turns into a white, milky substance. What's up, Ems? It turns into a white, milky substance. This white, milky substance, right? This white, milky substance has magnetic properties. They then travel to an area of the brain. They come together and they create an electromagnetic environment. And you can experience all that this oil, this chrism is what it's called, has to offer. It has regenerative, boy, I cannot talk, regenerative properties. It has consciousness elevation, vigor, eradication of most, if not all, diseases, restoration of mind. And guess what? Everybody can do this. This is what the Bible talks about in allegorical form. The Bible is so deep, man. So there's so much that I can get into. But you ever see Mike Tyson talk about abstaining from sex and using this sexual energy to come out and bust folks up? You know what I mean? He may not have experienced the fullness of what this alchemical process has to offer, but he was using a strong component of it. That's your life force, man. That is a strong urge. If you can control that, transmute that, yo, there's nothing that can stand in your way. And I experienced this like a month ago. I was coasting. I was like electrified. I kept telling my wife, people around, I was like, yo, I feel electric. Like, I don't know what's going on. I started doing more research and circled back to this finding and learned exactly what was going on. So this is what we mean by raising the oil of being anointed. It ain't about putting actual oil on your forehead. It's about having this oil get differentiated within the pituitary gland, which is located here in your forehead. The Bible is a deep text. You can't take it for face value. It's not, I don't believe it's meant to be taken 100% literally. Obviously, in Proverbs, you can take that stuff literally because that's good advice, man. That's stuff you just need to hold on to. You know what I'm saying? Find you a virtuous woman. You know, that's one of the advices in Proverbs. That can be taken literal. But some of the stuff like talking about anytime there's numbers involved, anytime there's like astrology involved, a weird sequence of names, if it's an allegorical story about a specific people or person, you got to look into those deeper because they're all connected. It's all connected in talking about how wonderfully made the human body is. And this is what it means. Oh, it also can regenerate the blood and creates an alkaline system within the body. This is not something you're going to learn in allopathic medicine. You have to look and reach from different areas across the world and piece together. And it seems like the only place that this is not known is right here in America, right? Eastern nations, European nations. I want you to pay special attention to popes, churches, specifically in Europe and Spain. Those places that have a reverence for ancient knowledge and spirituality. What do they have on the end of their scepters? Or their canes? What do they have? What's one of the largest statues in the Vatican? A pineal cone. You think they like pine trees? No. It's all about symbology. The world is made up of symbols. Everything we got is made up of symbols. What is a symbol? A placeholder for a vibratory interpretation of the environment. You know what I'm saying? Like these words right here on the back of this deodorant. These are symbols for communicating what's in this deodorant. We're getting a little deeper than we need to, but this thermostat that I'm about to install in my truck, this is a symbol. These words, they're symbols. Everything's about symbology. You can't take everything on face value, right? Understand what I'm saying, man? I wish I could do this full time and like sit down and go through this process and talk about all this stuff. But I'm too busy trying to live it. I thought it was possible. It is dang near impossible to journey and share this journey the way that I want to share it. It's impossible because when you out here living it, like, you're just like, bro, I ain't got time. I got stuff to do. Like, I gotta go work out. I gotta go. I gotta. So guess what? The good news of all this is, it don't matter what's happening around. It don't matter what disease, what virus, what bacteria comes into your environment. You win in the end. You just have to be equipped with the knowledge. That's all it is. And I wish I had the books on me right now. If you want to know about some of the books that I read, go pick up the book, God Man, The Word Made Flesh by George Carey. That's a book that I've had for a while, passed down to me by my father. I picked up 2 new books by Dr. Ibrahim Karim, and it talks about biogeometry, how the ancient peoples used symbols to induce certain states and direct certain energy. That's why they used the pyramid with the opening at the top, because these were essentially chambers for transmuting etheric energy. Man, yo, I sound crazy, don't I? But guess what? I can talk to you about sports still. I can talk to you about Kanye. I can talk to you about stuff that's happening. I can talk to you about news. I can talk to you about Biden. I can talk to you about anything. I'm still the same old dude, but deep down, I keep this stuff under wraps. I share it on here because I feel like there's enough people that could resonate with what I'm talking about that it'll be received to some level. Now let's talk about another health tip. Listen. Really, at my core, if I could literally just research this stuff and live it daily, and that'd be all I did, that'd be all I do. That'd be all I do. If I could just meditate, eat right, and take care of my people in my circle, that would be all I do. But right now, the consciousness is so low. Let me tell y'all a story, yo. Check this out. So I've been on this path for quite some time, right? And I'm getting to a point where I'm getting really good at detecting subtle energies within my body and understanding myself and my mentality. Man, I went to go pick up a sandwich at Penn Station, right? I thought it was a good idea. Quick little sandwich. What up, Intel Inside? Big ups. Always happy to see you. I know you see me with a different energy today. This is just what I've been on lately. But check this out. Man, I pull in, right? Now I'm in a Camry. I'm in an older Camry. I ain't got no firepower. There ain't no horsepower. I don't even think horses can pull this thing. You know what I'm saying? I think this is such an archaic, old, heavy piece of machinery. Well, really, it's light machinery that I don't think they measure its power in horsepower. I think they just measure it in gas usage, right? So I'm not driving aggressively because I don't have enough cylinders. This car is not equipped to drive aggressively. I'm painting a picture. So I'm going to Penn Station. I'm in the parking lot, right? I pull beside this Camaro, a drop-top cloth Camaro. I park. The Camaro is probably about, okay, so this is where the Camaro's parked. I'm driving perpendicular to this car. I pull just close enough. Now, look, I have to pull just close enough to get my car in and leave them about 2.5 to almost 3 feet of space between my door and their door. Listen, Precious could have got out the passenger side and not even been close to my car. But the way that the parking lines were angled, I had to come in like this and kind of make a quick turn. But then, like, my nose was positioned to the outside left corner of the parking spot, right? So they had plenty of room. Again, Bruce could have got out the passenger side of this car and it wouldn't have been a problem, right? He could have done jumping jacks. He wouldn't even touch my car. I'm not even thinking about it this time. I'm actually excited. Like, I'm proud of myself because I gave these people enough room with this tiny little space to work with. Like, I'm all the way on the left-hand side. So I get out of my car and I hear somebody talking loud, like on the phone, like really mad, like they mad at somebody. And as I pass the back end of my car, or the front end of my car to go into Penn Station, I hear this girl say, "And I know you heard me too." I was like, hold up, who's talking? Hold on. So I bend around and I look. She had her door wide open. Y'all, let me tell y'all something, man. This girl looked like Lil Wayne if he never made it and never got any sleep. She had like a real like mean scowl on her face. She ain't touched her dreads in years. And it's cool. Like, if that's the look you're going for, like, I'm not here to judge, but what I'm saying is, she looked like she wanted to bite my head off, right? She was really mad at me, and she was like, and I know you heard me. And I just looked at her. I didn't say nothing. She said, I said, damn, you think you close enough? In that moment, I sat there and I thought, I was like, bro, I'm not about, like, this person is vibrating way too low for me to even engage. Even engage. So I just look at her. I don't even do this. I don't do this. I relax my eyes like this right here. Like I just woke up and I just looked at her. And in my mind, I'm processing, like, should I say what I could say? Like, should I bomb on her right now? And I was like, nah, she's vibrating too low. You're on a journey. Why would you even entertain that? Like, even have that thought? Erase that thought. And I just looked at her. I didn't smile. I turned like this. And I opened the door for the young lady that was behind me. It was real smooth, man. I wish I need to get the camera footage on that. But the point that I'm making about all that is she ended up driving off. And before she drove off, I heard her say, all right then, yo, lame man, Nick. Like, I was like, dude, I'm about to go there with you. But in days past, before I learned this information, and before I actually was more cognizant of my consciousness on the inside and the process going on in the inside, I would have engaged this woman, and it probably would have been a whole issue, man. Ain't no telling what would have happened. I would have been off my game. It would have taken me off my path. It would have taken me off my high. It would have brought me down lower. I can't get to that level. Like when you truly, and right now I'm just amped up, right? I'm just really amped up. But when you truly get to a point in life where you are the master of your mind, and being the master of your mind doesn't mean that you always immediately do the right thing. But when you can rein that back in, that animal instinct to go off, to attack or whatever, and you can analyze a situation and respond instead of reacting, yo, it's a different feeling of power. In that moment, I felt powerful. Not because I owned her. I don't care nothing about Lil Wayne. I'm not worried about her. But I owned myself in that moment. I showed poise. I practiced what I preach. And I was like, yo, that felt kind of good. And she went on about her business. She probably realized how stupid she sounded. When she pulled, and look, here's the funny part. She was complaining, saying that I was too close. But guess what direction she pulled out of the parking spot? She pulled out of the parking spot going right, which is exactly where I was parked. So if I was too close, she wouldn't have been able to do that. She would have had to go left. She had plenty of room. So I say all that to say this. There is a certain type of duty. There is a responsibility as a human, as a man, as a person, to be in control of your emotions. In order to be in control of your life and your destiny and where you're going. To an extent, to a degree. Man, on this path, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I've actually stopped. I ain't really eating that much fish. I'm kind of leaning back. I ain't gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it because I am still very much so vegetarian, and at the most I will eat eggs, farm fresh eggs, but it's changing some things. Like I'm more cognizant of what I put in my body. You know, like my water comes from a health food store as much as possible. I've limited my pre-workout stuff, like the drinks and stuff that I drink. I don't really do that. I do green tea in the mornings and a mix of mushrooms. Like I'm just in a different place. And I've been prioritizing sleep. Let me tell y'all, sleep, if you ain't getting sleep and you got mental fog, you got fatigue, you got confusion, you stumble over your words when you have a live, it's probably because you ain't getting sleep. You got to learn how to get sleep, man. It's very, very important. Another thing that's important, breathing. This is all silly, stupid, simple stuff. But over the years, we fall into stupid habits and we get into unhealthy environments and we change our physiology. I breathe through my nose as much as possible. We all do. I'm telling you, I was a night owl. I would stay up because I convinced myself that's the only time I could be productive because all my responsibilities were in bed. They were gone. My daughter was asleep, family sleep, wife sleep, boss sleep, everybody sleep. This is my time to shine. I can plan. I wouldn't go to sleep till like 1 o'clock, and I'll wake up about 9, 10 on an off day, and I'll complain while my whole day is gone, man. I ain't got no time to do nothing, man. Well, what did you do last night? And see, now I prepared the night before. I got a whole, man, let me see, where is it at? Hold on, let me see if I can find it. No, it ain't in here. But I got a whole notebook that I fill up every day with stuff I'm gonna do, and I make it the night before. Now I used to hear people doing that back in the day. That's just something that you do. But I used to think like only people who were like successful in life in a big way were supposed to do that. I didn't think that ain't for me. That's a lie. That's a lie. So we'll talk more about raising the oil and what that means. But semen retention for men, yo, if you go 29 days, and when the moon is in your sun sign, and I'm not an astrologer, when the moon is in your sun sign, there's a psychophysiological process that happens where there's a seed that has the potential to get germinated within your sacral region. Sacral it's a bone at the bottom base part of your spine. It's a combination of 5 fused bones at the base of your spine, your sacral region, and it gets drawn up, and at your 33rd vertebrae, it goes through. Man, it's so deep. I don't even want to tell y'all wrong, but it crosses over a specific nerve called the vagus nerve and goes up and gets differentiated, and then you're able to experience after I think it's 2.5 days. After 2.5 days, I don't know what you're laughing at, but yeah, I'm sure it should be laughed at. It gets after 2.5 days, that's when you will basically have the opportunity to feel its effects if you continue in saving your seed, not overeating, not depleting your life force, and continuing to live in a specific way. This is crazy. And I know it's true because I've done it 3 times in my life, 2 of which I did not understand what was going on. This last one I understood. So, hey man, listen, look at them stars. Learn about what them planets are doing and the symbology behind them. It's not satanic. It's in the Bible. They got planets in the Bible. They got numbers in the Bible. The people that tell you that stuff is satanic are the same people that are practicing it. They want you to not know what the ancients know, what you should inherently know, what you should be interested in as a human here on earth because it has power. God set the planets, the stars in motion for a reason. They give us signs, clues into coming ages. They give us insight into God's mind and how creation came about. If you worked for NASA, check this out. If you were a Christian and you worked for NASA and you studied the stars and the planetary movements, and you started to see a correlation between human behavior, check this out. Women's cycles coincide with moon cycles. This cycle I'm telling you about with men coincides with moon cycles. So, why is it that you can be an astrologer for NASA and a Christian at the same time, but because you get paid to do that and pay attention to that stuff and you see these correlations, but because that's your profession, it's not satanic? Does that make sense? Y'all, this stuff ain't satanic. It's people that know the power and seeing these clues of what God has created for us. They don't want us peasants to know it. They don't want it. They don't want us to know it. I ain't telling you to be a. I'm not telling you to be a Hotep Jesus. I ain't telling you to be a Miss Cleo. What I'm saying is you need to pay attention a little bit more than you have. This ain't horoscope. You know what I'm saying? This ain't going to a horoscope, seeing the horoscope say, you're a Leo this month. Be looking out for opportunity. Every month has opportunities. Every day has opportunities. Come on. You should always be on the lookout for opportunities. Just because you was born in a specific month don't mean you should be looking for more opportunities than not. This ain't horoscope, man. This is understanding planetary movement. Stuff that affects nature. This affects nature. You think it ain't going to affect us? And why am I rubbing my chin so much? I have no clue. I have no clue. It just feels natural. It feels like somebody without a beard should be rubbing their chin to induce growth. Because I got a couple days off and I want my beard back. Maybe that's why I'm doing it. It's funny talking and seeing yourself. You see all the stupid stuff you do on camera, man. I was just doing it. I mean, it just feels kind of good too. Yeah. So that's what I'm on right now. I'm moving out of my house. That's another thing. Yeah, moving out of my house. Got a opportunity I cannot refuse. Not selling it, but it will be rented out for be rented out for a good amount of money. And I'll be living with some family. We'll be living with some family for a time being, and waiting for this market to continue doing what it do, so I can get what I get. I want land next. It's good, Q. It's nice to see a quick live. Hey, man, Sherman Cowell. OG. Sherman Cowell in the business. Let's go. In the building. It's always good to see you, man. I'm sending you and everybody else in this live high vibrational energy and love. And I ain't talking about no like cliche stuff. I'm talking about I'm lifting you up in my mind's eye. Wherever you're at, whatever you're dealing with, man, y'all got this. Y'all, we are abundantly and exceedingly more powerful than we've been led to believe. Path less, man, it really is the path less follow. The more I talk about it, the crazier I feel. But then I open up to other people and they're like, oh, yo, this is amazing. It's like, man, I got a book that shows all this stuff. Like it literally shows it. It shows how the sacral region is attributed to Sodom and Gomorrah, the animal flesh, the animal area, the part of you that wants to overeat, indulge in sexual pleasure, indulge in the animalistic part of you. And then the river of Jordan is attributed to being your spinal column that actually flows your cerebral spinal fluid. Your brain gets bathed in cerebral spinal fluid. It has electromagnetic properties. It goes down I'm getting electrified just talking about it, man. Scientists of today in allopathic medicine will tell you that this stuff don't mean nothing. But check this out. All the stuff that's important, excluding the pituitary gland, they say you shouldn't pay attention to. Like chiropractic, they say that's just quack medicine, ain't got nothing to do with nothing, right? Me personally, I feel like you should do like straighten your spine and your posture on your own. I don't want nobody cracking my back. That's just me. But if you trust it and you got somebody good, do your thing. But your spinal cord is connected to your brain, obviously. And you have fluid that goes up and down your spinal cord into your brain. It bathes ventricles within your brain. It bathes the outer layers of your brain. And if you have bad cerebral spinal fluid or you have meningitis, it's because you have an inflammation or a bacterial infection of this region and your spinal cord. And it's detrimental. It can cause paralysis and other things. I'm going to tell you, the cerebral spinal fluid is actually a clear like liquid. Along with the catch up, the funny news, eventually all the energy vibration concepts will be proven. We already see some studies showing this little by little. Facts. They got catching up to do. I think, you know who has catching up to do? The public. I think the people that are in charge that are doing, they know, and they want to divert our attention away from this stuff because it's powerful information. Powerful information. I've actually witnessed a spinal tap, and it's a clear liquid that comes out of your spine. This direction sign likes to move. It's caught up in itself. No, I'm with you. Facts. You know what's funny? Like I'm reading. I got I'm not reading actively, but I have the book of John D. Rockefeller. It's called Titan, and you hear about his family. His whole family, before they even had any money, they were vagabonds. They were called pariahs. They had to move around from city to city because his father was named Devil Bill. You know why? Because he would run around those towns as they moved, and he would con everybody. He'd sell literal snake oil. That's one of the reasons the term snake oil salesman came about, to heal stuff. So they had a bit of a monopoly or an operation around snake oil. And then when his son, which is the one that the book is about, the son, came to a age, he started to corner these different industries, oil industry, train industry, and things like that, positioned himself as a titan in business. And he put out all these initiatives to discredit homeopathic medicines, to discredit anybody that healed on a spiritual plane or anything like that. Like that was his whole MO. And he cornered, he ended up having a stronghold on the medical industry. That's why you got the John D. Rockefeller Foundation. You got boy, I can't motherfucking talk. You got Johns Hopkins University working closely with them. It's different. It's different. Sounds like revenge against his dad. I don't know. It could be. Possibly. Y'all should pick that book up. So right now, the books that I'm reading, God Man, the Word Made Flesh. Yeah. Well, what's crazy about his biography is he was torn between two extremes. He had his dad that had no regard for anything else but making money and making a living, to the point to where he would leave his family for months on end. And he was not a good person. They talk about him. But his mother was a devout Christian and strived to always give and be the example of what a Christian should do, be, and have. So you'll see these moments where John Rockefeller will be altruistic and give money away and help people. But then you see he was a freaking tyrant when it came to business and having an edge on business. And they speculate and say that he would be this way because his endeavors to give were so big that he would be ruthless in business so that he could give in a big way. I think that's bullshit. I think as you see his progression, he just became power hungry. And he realized he can utilize different sects of people with his agendas. And yeah, that's just what I think. But my book list right now, what I'm reading is a Back to a Future from Mankind by Ibrahim Karim, Dr. Ibrahim Karim, and it talks about biogeometry. It talks about the importance of why they place the pyramids and monuments in certain areas, and how they did it. That the ancients believed that there were certain energetic grid lines, and the pyramids were placed on energetic grid lines. If you look on a map, you'll see that pyramids worldwide are placed on some of these same grid lines that are energetic. Even capitals in major cities, the same thing. They coincide with like star systems and constellations. So the other book I'm reading is Biogeometry Signatures. That's also by Dr. Ibrahim Karim, and it talks about how there is a energetic emanation that comes off of shapes and colors, and when you combine them together in a certain way, you can induce certain states of consciousness and health, and you can even transmute negative energy within an area into positive energy. We're talking about actual detected energy, specifically things like electrosmog and EMFs. You got to understand that the air, let me give you the last one. I'm sorry. Let me give you the last book that I'm reading. The last book that I have is called God Man, the Word Made Flesh by George Carey. Very great book, deep book, talks about all these processes. that it would make sense that grid lines is on a planet where energy resonates higher. Facts. It's like they use it like a circuit board. It's actually it's interesting. Um, so there was one more thing I was gonna share, and then I got a text and it messed my connection up. Um, it's all about ascension, man. That's what we're trying to do. I'm trying to ascend to another level of consciousness so I can exist beyond this physical plane, like this mess of a world that we have. You know what I mean? So that's all it is for me. Nothing more, nothing less in these books. Absolutely. Yo, I wish I could remember what I was about to say. Yeah, looking at these books. And then obviously I got the Rockefeller biography called Titan. And when I get a chance, I also have a book called The Psychology of Money, which is a good book. Bro, what was I about to say? I was about to say something, man. God dog, bro. Tripping. But anyway, man, I'm on a slow weight loss plan. I think I'm down 15 pounds now. You can see it. Look at my old videos. Face don't look as sharp. I also been doing these jaw exercises to help with my sleep apnea. I don't know if I told you about that, but so there's that. I've been mouth taping. Yo, I've been on a lot of stuff that I probably should share on the new channel, but I've literally just transmutation with the air. Oh, thank you. That you are Intel Inside. Praise God for you. We got to understand that air is just not a clear medium, just a space full of nothing. Like this right here, if you were here beside me just clapping, when I clap, it creates longitudinal waves. So longitudinal waves are waves that, imagine like a inchworm. They travel like this, and they go through this medium of gases, which is air, and they move gas, and they go to your eardrum, reverberate, and your brain interprets it as a certain sound. What I mean by gases, you have oxygen, you have nitrogen in the air, things like that. It isn't just a medium of nothing. Like, you can even wave your hand and feel a slight resistance. You know? It's because we're moving gases around. So, where I'm getting at with this is, in those gases, they're not just gases. We have electromagnetic frequencies that travel through this medium by way of longitudinal. You have longitudinal waves that travel like an inchworm, and then you have, I guess you would call them, I forget the name for them. I want to say latitudinal, but I think it's a different name, that travel higher up. So imagine taking like a bullwhip, you know, or doing like battle ropes at the gym, where those waves like go up like this, and they're high and long, and they're dramatic, and they push a lot of gases. So in any environment, there's a certain type of there's a certain amount of differing waves, and when you think about electricity, you can think of it as, you can have electromagnetic frequencies in an environment, this gaseous environment, that can have an effect on how you think, feel, and act. Some of them have a cumulative effect, meaning that they, over a period of time, it can affect your health, or an immediate effect. The depth of my knowledge does not lend itself to me to be able to go too deep into which ones do which, but understand that that's why this science of biogeometry in these two books I'm talking about is very important. So different shapes, man, dude, this is crazy, man. Maybe I should do another live later and talk about this. Different shapes, whether drawn or constructed, emanate a certain type of energy because it's in this medium of gas and frequency. Like, there's at any given moment. So they emanate and direct and divert energy. So that's why this guy, Dr. Ibrahim Karim, found that ancient Egypt understood and knew this, and they could either transmute and amplify etheric energy to help heal, or they could take negative energy in certain areas and transmute it to help neutralize an environment. So I'm gonna say this and go. Why it's so fascinating? This same doctor did a experiment in Switzerland, I believe. It was in Hamburg. It was featured in the news. There were these areas where they were quantifying large numbers of people complaining about ailments to their emergency system. Certain ailments that were consistent with electrosmog, meaning a huge concentration of just varying electromagnetic frequencies in certain areas that are higher than others. So they quantified it by tracking what these callers were talking about. And they went to some of the areas who had the highest volume of calls for these ailments, as well as equipment that would cause these ailments. And what this doctor did, using his ancient knowledge, is he took, oh my God, y'all, I love talking about this stuff. He took a collection of biosignatures, which are drawings, and energy emitters. And he assembled them in a way in which they would draw in this energy and transmute it and neutralize it. And what they found during this experiment, the call volume went down. People didn't know that he was doing this. The call volume for these ailments went down and decreased. Some of them by as much as like 50, 60. I even saw one chart show like damn near an 80% decrease in this call volume. They've done tests in many different ways. Like that ain't just the only test. So it piqued my interest. It's very, very, very interesting. And one of the ways that they do this is if you look at ancient Egypt and you see them holding scepters or wadj, they call them, one of them is called a wadj by a specific pharaoh used to hold something called a wadj, a W-A-D-J. And what these things were, they were energy transducers. They would draw in and emit certain energies that would be beneficial to an aspect of this pharaoh and give them vitality and strength and health. And man, it's so freaking deep. Even the Ankh. People want to say that the Ankh is it predates the cross and it's actually what the cross is based off of. No, the Ankh is actually an energy emitter that is highly symbolic. It symbolizes feminism. It symbolizes the marrying of feminism and masculine principles. It is an energy emitter, but also it draws in energy. And the way that it does it, the pattern in which it does it, it is used for vitality, virility, fertility. Man, this is deep. And I might have just confused a lot of people, but the stuff that I'm learning is like, it's in my head. So it's hard for me to explain how big an elephant is when I feel like there are so many people who are focused on its toenails. You know what I mean? All they can see are the toenails. But I'm trying to explain and show people how big this elephant is, yo. Like, this elephant is huge and it's got armored skin. Like, y'all gotta see, you gotta understand. And people just keep wanting to look at the toenails. So I'm trying to fit so many different concepts into a small window of time when this is years of looking at some of this stuff. Make a course? Whew. Man, I don't know if I'm ready for that. That'd be interesting. I could do that, but I'm still learning a lot. So I don't know that that's yet. CERN. Oh my gosh. Woo! CERN. Well, CERN in itself is the name pays homage to a Celtic god that was responsible for chaos. And I had a nightmare about CERN. Oh, well, shoot, maybe you need to talk about it. Huh. You need to talk about CERN. Yeah, that's a deep one. But in the end, they can't win. They're never, so CERN is, I'll be quick. CERN is a scientific endeavor that seeks to recreate the creation story. They basically take particles of atoms. So you have atoms, and then you have molecules. So we're going to break it down. Atoms get broken down into molecules. Molecules get broken down into particles. They take these base forms of atoms which make up matter. If you were to take my finger, go down deeper, you see molecules. Go down deeper, you'd see particles. They just call them particles because that's as deep as they can go. So they take these particles and they put them in this collider, kind of like what you saw on Stranger Things, and they have these rings of like magnets that are lining on each side, and they charge them up, and it takes so much energy and so much time to charge them up fully. I think they thought we were more discreet than that, actually. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna tell you my theory on that. Why they keep finding smaller and smaller particles. They will never be able to find the God particle, the true God particle that they call a God particle. And they accelerate through these magnets. They accelerate these particles at a high velocity of speed so they can collide and hopefully cause a ripple in time space to create a wormhole or an alternate reality to see what would happen if they do that. What kind of things can they do? What things can come from this? They want to say that it's a research on energy and alternative energies and all that stuff, but it's BS. All the symbology there is, yes, deeply occult. So my theory is they will never find it because I believe, man, I'm tell you how dope God is. I think the closer we look at God, the more he, she, it, they expands. Like, imagine trying to know everything there is about your parents. You think you got your parents figured out, right? But then they pass, and you hear stories from people their entire life about different aspects of who they are and things they did that you never thought possible. Like, even stuff that pertains to you. And you're like, yo, this is crazy. Like my dad did that. My dad used to say that about me. My dad, like, the closer you think you get to your parents, the more your understanding of them expands. So that's what I think what happens with God. I think God expands. They're going to keep on trying to find base. They'll keep going. Oh, this is the basis of life here. And he just keeps saying, all right, I'm going to give you a little bit more dust here. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more salt there. All right. Oh, you found some quarks? You want to call those quarks? All right. Boom. What you going to name those? Oh, Iona quarks. All right. Boom. It just keeps expanding. I made up Iona quarks. Quarks is an actual thing. We can't even get a harness enough energy to get to that level. No. And what's crazy is we're an extension of that same power. And all we got to do is go within. Crazy. Anyway, man, I haven't talked enough. I got to get in this gym. It's been nearly an hour. I could talk about this stuff all day and apparently all night. But I got to go get this workout in. Appreciate y'all. Follow me on the new channel if you hadn't already at The Big Shift. The Big Shift. If you don't know where it is, look on the last 2 or 3 channels. There should be a link. I haven't yet, but when I do, I will. It'll be a flooding of posts. I'll just be talking about everything. I'm working on this transformation, though, so I can come back and show y'all the full-on transformation, because I've been effortlessly losing weight as opposed to what I was doing. Effortful. Putting a lot of effort into losing weight. All right, y'all. Till next time, y'all stay blessed. Peace.